Hey everybody, it is T, and this is another quick episode of Tea with T. We're not gonna get into my inconsistencies as a content creator, but that's besides the point. I wanted to take some time and talk about the events that took place on Wednesday. Today's Friday, and I just wanted to take a moment to talk about a day that will unfortunately go down in history for terrible, terrible events. January the 6th, 2021. So I realized last night that there's a lot to reflect about on that day. And our responsibilities as citizens, our responsibilities as representatives, and just human beings. So the messed up part about that day is that it started off really good. I mean, we woke up to Georgia, bringing it home for everybody, making history with two awesome people making history. We have our first African American senator in Georgia, and then you have, a Jewish senator who is also making history, being the youngest. Stacey Abrams killing it. Wednesday started off really well, right? And then, the noon hour turned, and things got bad quickly. For me, I was, at home with my family. I was working from home, but we were also, staying informed, looking at the news. And, a uncalled for objection for Arizona's voting count. And, wasting 2 hours on nonsense. But, that 2 hours quickly turned to almost, 7 hours of unrest. And we all saw the pictures. We all saw what happened. Windows broke, property vandalized, borders in territory that is not supposed to be occupied by certain people was done such. Just vandalism and anarchy and just a complete disrespect for our country. But I feel like there are three things to really take away from what happened on Wednesday. The first thing has to do with identity and being a Trump supporter. So for me, after Wednesday, before Wednesday, I was hesitant to say all Trump supporters are bad because, I was trying to be nice. I thought there was some sort of, little percentage of people who must have some sort of sanity, right? And, after Wednesday, I'm like, no, we cannot condone any of what happened on Wednesday. And we also can't, look past the fact that certain people are responsible. Our president, well, not our president, but the president of the United States is responsible for a terrible day in history and a terrible day in modern American history. And the thing about it is, you hear all these news reporters saying, well, it wasn't him. It was the people. It was a bad moment. But the problem is this whole thing is like an equation, right? We had our outcome. You can't say that you take Trump out and we would have had the same exact outcome. That is just not fact. And we have to recognize that. And the thing about it is you can't take him out of any equation because he is the cause. He is the cause, and he's the reason. We can't deny that anymore. He may have not been the creator of white supremacy, but you can't deny the fact that he has influenced the situation. There's no denying that at this point. And, being a supporter, being, whether or not you're a regular person at home or whether or not you're a representative in Congress. The thing about being a supporter, right, of someone, your identity is tied to that person. And that person and their ideologies, their actions, their thoughts, their views, that means that all that stuff is tying to them too, right? So you're saying after Wednesday, despite all that, you're still going to tie your identity to somebody like that? No. And we can't condone that at all. And like, it's just, I want to get to this later, but like, I'm like, wow. But then also I'm like, not surprised, not shocked. Cause this is America, right? Right? But like, you already know what the deal is, but like, it's just weird. And then, another thing that crossed my mind, like the police, it's just so crazy. Now, there are some good police officers. I'm not gonna sit here and say that all police people are bad, but I am talking about the institution of the police, right? The institution itself was created for bad intentions, right? And as time has gone on, those intentions have never been addressed and they've never been changed, right? So we can't be surprised that like, oh, where was the police? Where's the tear gas? Where's the rubber bullets and all this other stuff? It's like, it's messed up to see all that stuff, but then like, can we really be surprised, right? Because it's like, we as the people are not at heart. We are not the main focus. We are not thought of in this country. There are other things. There are other items. There are other, I don't know, tangible, not even tangible, like non-tangible things. Power, greed, money, just all these things. And it's like, it's frustrating because these people in Congress took an oath to protect us, right? And to have us at our best interest, yet that is not happening. It continues to happen over and over and over again. And it's like, what does somebody have to do in order to get our point across, right? And I don't want to hear anything like, nobody can tell me anything anymore. You like, after Wednesday, after all the things that we saw on Wednesday, you can't tell me that racism does not exist in this country anymore. You can't tell me that white privilege does not exist in this country. There was literally, like, I'll tell you two things that happened that I saw on television that really like messed me up. One, I was with my family and my dad pointed out, like, on the Congress steps, or some steps in Congress, right? Or not Congress, I'm sorry, the Capitol. The police was forcing them down. Not by like, like roughhousing people, but they were gently walking them down the steps, right? And then there was one police officer who was literally holding the hand of an older white female Trump supporter. And you look at that and you're reminded of last summer, right? There was literally an older gentleman who was pushed by the police, cracked his skull, and was not helped, despite the blood staining the concrete, right? So that's one thing. Then, thinking about my own experience and what I like saw on Wednesday, me on Wednesday night, late at night, because I couldn't sleep after all the craziness that happened on Wednesday, I'm sorry, I'm rambling. Well, not rambling, but like trying to focus my thoughts. But like, anyway, I'm watching Action News because I live in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I'm watching Action News, and one of the first things I see on the 11 o'clock news is one of the reporters there is interviewing people who came to Washington on the bus from Pennsylvania, not Philadelphia, but a county in Pennsylvania, got off the bus and returned from Washington, right? And they were discussing, all the stuff that happened. It's a revolution. We're still going to be here despite the fact that, Trump isn't going to be here. And it's like, white privilege is real. It's real. You as a person was literally able to be a part of such destruction, of such chaos, right? And you had the privilege to come back home. You had the privilege to come back home to your family. Like, I don't know how many people have been arrested. I know the FBI is like figuring all that stuff out and trying to get people's names and identify people. But just the fact that like in that moment, only 14 or so people were arrested despite the 30,000 people out there, like that makes no sense whatsoever. And it's just chaos. Like, but like, can we be surprised at it? You know? And it's just disheartening, you know? And like I said, we started off the day really well with history being made. And then history again had to be made in a negative way. It had to, you know, overshadow all that positive vibes, you know? It's like we can't get a break. We cannot get a break, can we? It's just weird. But I don't know. You know me. I'm trying to end things on a positive note as I'm like coming to a close. But like, I guess the thing that I want to leave you all with is positivity is tied to negativity. Not in the fact of like it influences each other, but the fact that like we just saw a extreme level of negativity and destruction and chaos. I know for a fact that we will be met with that same level, but of positivity, right? Positivity always outweighs negativity. That's just how the way the world goes. But also, we can't have real change and real diversity and inclusion without, you know, chaos happening. Unfortunately, I wish there was another way to go about getting what we were promised, you know, and what we've worked so hard for. But unfortunately, I think that's just the way that it works, unfortunately. And it's like, we just have to be prepared for the worst in order for all of us to get where we know we can get to, you know? I don't know. I found this Bible verse. What is it? Psalms 27. I'm just going to read from verse 1 to 3. It says, "The Lord is my light and my salvation. Why should I be afraid? The Lord is my fortress, protecting me from dangers. So why should I tremble? When evil people come to devour me, when my enemies and foes attack me, they will stumble and fall. Though a mighty army follows me, my heart will not be afraid. Even if I am attacked, I will remain confident." So, I would just leave you all with, you know, I'm not going to sit here and say that, you know, it's not difficult to process all that happened this week. It's okay if you are feeling some type of way. And I would say, please reach out to somebody and tell them what you're going through. Talk it out, because that's the way that we're going to, you know, get through this, you know. And another thing that I would like to say is, I don't know, the way that I see it, white supremacy is not an all people problem. I'm going to say that, right? Because let's just be completely honest with each other. If white supremacy was an all problem, then black people would have been able to defeat white supremacy years ago, because we've been fighting it hundreds of years ago, right? So it's not a black person problem. It's not a Latino problem. It's not an Asian problem. It's not an indigenous problem. It is a white people problem. White people have to address white supremacy. That's the only way that it's going to happen, because it's like, how much longer do we have to go through this? You know, we've been going through this years, centuries, decades, you know, since the creation of this country. And you know, where's it gotten us? We are literally going to implode on ourselves. Or not even we, just the people who tolerate this. They will be their own destruction, right? And what's going to be left is a world for the people who actually are good, right? So I would just leave you all with peace, blessings, and prayers. I'm praying for everybody's sanity, mental, emotional, physical, because this is very stressful time. But I also know for a fact, and I know that the society, the land, the world that God promised us is going to come to pass. Like I said, it's just coming. Because the thing about it is, we wouldn't be going through so much hell if it wasn't coming. All of this, like, it's weird how the world works. Like, the fact that we're going through all this means that something good is coming. That's what I want to say. Yeah. But yeah. I don't know when the next Tea with T episode is, because y'all know how inconsistent I am. But yeah, I just wanted to, say some stuff, because I feel like, it's really important for us to, just talk it out and understand and know that we are there for each other. But yeah, stay blessed, be happy, be healthy, stay cool. Peace.